Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm playing the Halloween Gambit in celebration of the fast approaching end of November. October. The Halloween Gambit is where white sacrifices a knight on move 4 in hopes of getting a powerful attack, and my goal is to win a game with this opening. I also have to be very careful because with all the challenges I've done, my rating is dipping down into smurfing territory, so let me know if you guys want to see me do a rating climb for a video, because it's something that I have to do regardless. Let's get started with game number 1. Alright, game number 1. Right off the bat, we get the black pieces, so even though we get e4, there is no way for us to do the gambit. Let's just play a Scandinavian. I guess this is the unofficial start of my rating climb. We'll play the hyper boring variation where you just move the queen back to d8. A lot of people prefer to play queen to a5, keep some more interesting ideas on the board. For example, that pin would have been available, but I'm okay with playing a little bit slow at the beginning. I just want to get my pieces out, give everybody a fair fighting chance, namely myself. We get pawn to h3, and I guess c6 is fine. We'll play rook to e8, just centralizing the pieces. Maybe we reroute the knight. Knight to d7 seems fine. Right now, this bishop doesn't have anywhere really comfortable to move to. Knight to b6, fighting for that d5 center square seems to make a lot of sense. I'm not sure what b3 is for. You'd imagine supporting c4 in the future. We do get the capture by the knight. I'm going to centralize my own knight to bother this bishop on e3, which does come over looking for a trade. I mean, I could just allow the trade, but it seems like a lot more fun to cause the opponent a headache and just move the bishop back. We get pawn to c4, uprooting the knight. I have to ask myself now where I want to put this knight. I guess I'm going to move it back to c7. It seems a little bit weird. b6 and f6 seem a lot more natural, but moving to e6 targeting d4 also seems to carry some merit. My only concern would be the d5 push, but I guess I can always slide the knight past the pawn. So let's go knight to e6, see what happens. Okay, well, we messed around and we found out we did in fact get that pawn to d5. We'll see if they isolate their pawn. They do. So this could be a weakness, even though it's a very strong central pawn. It could be a weakness at some point in the future. I'll move the knight back again. Still looking at d5, rook to e1, simply puts the rook on the semi-open file. And I know I've just been dancing around with this knight the entire game, but I'm going to reroute it to d6. So I can root that pawn on d5, make sure it has absolutely nowhere to move to, and become sort of an eternal weakness. Now I should probably develop this bishop, again supported by the knight. So this completely inactive bishop is now traded for one, staring at my king's position. Not that it was really a threat, but it's always nice to get it off your back. We do get knight to g5, maybe a little bit of pressure on f7, but not actually any threat. Rook takes back. Let's put our rook on the open file. I've managed to talk myself down to half the time that the opponent has, which is never a good thing. We get queen to f4, even though it's already defended, and this is probably a little redundant. I'm going to also brute force block the attack with my bishop. We get the knight back. I guess I'm fine with the trade. Queen takes back as well, and it's probably high time that I actually start looking for some sort of counterplay. Let's go queen to d6. I guess I can double up on the d5 pawn. Again, because I always have my fianchettoed bishop, these dark squares will never really be weak in the true sense of the word. We get bishop to f4, targeting the queen. I'd imagine moving the queen maybe down here, targeting a2. Might be worthwhile. I mean, they don't really have a concrete attack going on my king, so I don't really have that much to fear. What I do have to fear is my time situation, which I've already mentioned once and managed not to do anything about. So let me keep an eye on my time. I have 39 seconds to play out this endgame. Oh, that's completely losing. Oh my goodness. I'm normally a proponent of I'd rather lose on time than fall for a tactic, but I genuinely did not realize I was going to fall for something as silly as this. Genuinely, there's nothing I can do here. The rook behind is just gone. Or maybe I can move here. No, they can always take, and it removes the defender of the queen. So even though I take back, I Botez gambit the queen, and that is lights out. Maybe I'm not entering smurfing territory. Maybe my true rating is down in the depths of 1600, and I just have yet to achieve it. But anyways, with that, we just outright lose game number 1. Let's go to move on to game number 2. No! Game number 2, we get the black pieces again. I'm going to play a Sicilian. Maybe I just played too sleepyhead in the last game, so we'll dive deep into some Sicilian theory, which I'm not particularly fresh on, but I do know that once upon a time I thought that I was a accelerated dragon player, so you'd imagine that the moves that I remember and am currently playing have vaguely something to do with that. We centralize the knight, targeting the bishop, and the bishop moves back. Fair enough. I could play knight here. It's actually defended enough times, and it targets that bishop on e3. I don't think it actually does anything more beyond that, but it seems annoying enough that it is worth playing. Okay, bishop to f4. Maybe it wasn't worth playing, because now this knight knight is getting booted, and you'd imagine they would double my pawns here. Yeah, maybe I am just 1900 level. We'll move the knight back to f6. We do get that trade. I've now entombed my bishop for forever on g7. We'll play queen b6. I don't really want a queen trade. I want to keep the game a little bit more dynamic. Gives me a fighting chance, even though my pawns are already doubled. I'm kind of hoping this queen moves out of the way and I can develop like this. f3 isn't on the table because of the pin, and a trade could be nice, putting a little bit of pressure on f2, but we get bishop f3 instead. Unfortunately, that doesn't change the fact that I really do have to develop, so bishop e6 is at least one of the compulsory moves to develop my pieces. We'll target the queen with a tempo. I should probably also boot the knight now that I have the chance. Back to a3. Maybe I can even take on b2. I don't know if that's overcommitting the queen, but it seems to at least hit one of the knights, which is usually a good thing. Yeah, let's do that. We'll target the knight on c3, which does centralize itself. I could just trade. That really looks favorable for me. I don't know if I'm missing something super obvious, but I now also have the bishop pair in an endgame, which is also kind of nice. Okay, so they do grab me with the skewer here, targeting b7. We'll move my queen back. Oh no, my pawn! Definitely doesn't carry any repercussions. So even though they did sort of snag up that skewer, it was maybe a little premature because this rook is still hanging on a1 and it's kind of stuck there also defending the knight on a3. So there are a lot of sort of factors here stacking up, very much working in my favor. Now at some point e4 is definitely something I want to play. We'll play here in the meantime, just defending b7, but I do want to get this bishop into the game, but I don't really want to do it while trapping this one. So there are a couple of things at odds in my own position. Let's play e4 now. Maybe rook c8 to follow. Seems amusing. Oh, I think I could just pick up this. Don't mind if I do. This is a little bit annoying, but I'm okay with the trade. Because I get some material in exchange, namely the pawn. We get knight b6, move the rook back. Doing a lot better in terms of time. We'll hit him with this sneaky little discovered attack. Threatens to take on f2, also threatens to win a free rook, which we do manage to pick up. Okay, there's no reason for me to lose this, not even on time. Oh, wait! No! They hit me with the double rook sacrifice, and I didn't even notice it. Oh, but they somehow offer it again. Can I take that? I think I can take that. I think there's genuinely no issue there, and then I can just take here. And this pawn isn't promoting on any planet, right? Because I can always just play this, and there's just no support for it. So I'm going to come over and uproot the knight, and we do get the resignation. Okay, with that, we do win game number 2. A little bit of hope instilled once more in our mission to get that Halloween gambit. Let's go to move on to game number 3. All right, game number 3. Finally, e4, e5. Let's go. Knight to f3, knight c6. Do it, do it. No! Can I Halloween gambit here? Is that even a thing? You know what? Maybe I should have looked at this a little bit closer because I genuinely don't know if this is still a Halloween gambit. If they had played knight to f6, I would have had this. I don't even know what this is called. To me, to e4 players, I'm sure we're in an actual position of some kind. In my head, we're on bishop c5, whatever that means. Okay, if I take, the only real concern would be like queen here, right? Or maybe queen to h4 would be a real concern. Targeting f2. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Oh, you dare reject my gambit? How dare you? You will accept my gambit. Thank you. That's all I was asking. I just wanted them to accept my gambit. That's all I needed, right? I wasn't asking for $1 million. You'd imagine I should castle out of the way now. The issue is there's really no follow-up now because we're not really, again, in the actual Halloween gambit, which brings a lot of fast attacking ideas. We're in whatever bad situation I've managed to walk myself into. We'll play. I should still play for an attack, though, you'd imagine. So, question is, how do I go about that as quickly as possible? Because moving the king out of the way just seems slow, but f45 seems really promising. d3 seems a little more concrete, looking to develop the bishop, but I'm not playing for concrete, I'm playing for an attack. Gosh, it's so stressful to play these gambits. The one that I was so harshly pressuring my opponent to lean into. My instinct says king to h1, but my gut says pawn to d3. Let's follow my instinct. It's never led me astray. Okay, bishop goes back. d3, now we develop. I don't know, this pin is kind of stopping me from playing the entire point of moving the king over, but g4 just seems like totally insane. Well, sacking my knight twice was totally insane. I just keep talking myself out of playing fascinating attacking chess. Let's go. Let's run for the hills. Come out and play, little guy. We're going for, no, there's no escape. No, okay, the king is trying to move back to g8, but we really don't want to allow that. Let's just keep pushing, keep pushing. Check to follow. We drag the king out into the trenches. Another check. Drag the king out once more into the trenches. Okay, the king tries to run and hide, but what do you do after queen to h5? You sack the knight, you'd imagine. I think that's the only solution, right? They do sack the knight, so we will take back. We do get a little bit of material back for our struggles, but we haven't completely made up the deficit yet. Knight to d5 hits the queen, looks for knight to f6, works only because the pawn is pinned and the rook defends f6. Bishop h6 could follow. Ooh, knight to f6 picks up the queen, and I don't really. Oh, queen h7 even better. Finishes the game with mate. Again, I don't know if that was a Halloween Gambit, but it was very much in the spirit of the Halloween Gambit. I think I was able to find that October 31st deep in my soul, and it did win us the game. So with that, we do win our Halloween Gambit opening. I do apologize if this video was a little bit short. I frankly didn't expect to find a Halloween Gambit that quickly, but I did want to play some normal chess. I was just sort of in the mood to play something a little more standard. And also let me know down below if you guys do want me to do a rating climb back up to whatever my real rating is. I'd imagine it's somewhere in the mid 2000s. So it wouldn't be eternally long, but it could be constructive if you guys did want to see that, because that is something that I need to do. And before I do let you guys go, I do want to address the recent passing of Daniel Naroditsky. I didn't address it in yesterday's video because that one was admittedly scheduled from a weekend recording, but I do feel the need, beyond the post that I've already made, to verbally remember the contributions that Danya made to the chess community. He was just one of those people that you just know had a very pure soul, and it's just hard to process that that person is no longer with us. But it is of some consolation to know that his impact was so powerful that he left a very, very large portion of the chess community with more knowledge, more understanding, and a greater love for the game that he was always able to express better than any of us. Remembering his contributions and his teachings is really the best way that we can carry his memory forward. So let's do exactly that. I will see you guys in the next one.